whenever you see the field go from that 2, 3, or even just one wide, long, thin line of riders, and all of a sudden it bunches up into that 7 or 8 across, that's when you know something might go down right there. So there was 2 or 3 times this week where the pace slowed. A bunch of guys are trying to get back up to the front after having sat a little bit farther back for a while. And that's when you hit a corner sign and someone just misjudged something or pushes it too far trying to get through a corner. And that's where the crashes happen. The big thing with crits is that if you're not really suited for them, it's a chance for you to practice being as efficient as you possibly can be. So it's really, you have a lot of like road tactics boiled down into one really condensed like 50 minutes of racing. And so any effort that you can save anywhere is really going to add up throughout. And if you can take those lessons that you can learn in crits, such as conditioning, positioning, handling, and just trying to be as efficient as possible with accelerations, that's really going to benefit you in a multi-hour road race, where being able to be efficient over several hours is really going to make a difference in how much you can put out in the last 30 minutes. Like in the first race, the big thing is obviously positioning and just kind of gain a feel for the quality of field as well. Yeah, it was just trying to get used to the quality of field and learning to position. And the first day was just learning why you don't tail gun, because the pack stretches out so far around each corner that the farther back you are, the more amplified the effort it is just to catch back up. $250.
Close it, Bear, close it. Up there, Bear.
Second day was arguably the toughest for me. I think it was the Clock Tower Classic is what they called it, because it's in like this courtyard between buildings. So it's a half-mile course and super explosive. It's got one little rise that you do out of a corner that I was doing like 850 watts out of, which is a lot for someone
That's wild.
And I was doing that repeatedly out of the corner.
Yeah, for someone who weighs 60 pounds, that's a lot of output.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it was a really tough one for me. And if you weren't if you aren't like strong enough to be able to move up in that, which it was going to take a lot of effort for me to move up, you really needed to be at the front to start. And as I said, I was stuck at the back for that one, and quickly found out that I just didn't have the legs to put out that kind of output. Day was a little bit better. It was that the course, it's like an M with the line across the bottom. So you have the long finish straight, and then you have the zigzag on the back. And that one, I had decent position early, but then a crash that I had to go wide around this like 120-degree bend. That was the one where we come to almost a standstill around going through it. And a guy hit the ground there. I'm assuming he got his wheel crossed or something with someone trying to move up. And yeah, I had to go really wide and lost like all my momentum through that corner. So ended up like mid pack to the back of it again. And I think I held on until like 11 to go, 10 to go before I finally dropped. Yeah, that was a cool course. It had one really rough section right before the finish straight that was just really patched up road. So I didn't really feel comfortable getting out of the saddle to sprint on it just because I was worried. I think I had my front wheel pop up briefly at one point. Just that kind of bumpy.
Wow.
Other than that, it was a pretty fun course and really great spectator course because there's multiple places where you can see the riders without really moving.
Move up, move up. Good, Bear, good.
That was, I think, the first and fourth, the first day and the last day were probably the hottest. I think it was like 90 degrees with, I don't know what the humidity was, but it probably made it feel significantly more than that. So it was just trying to stay hydrated throughout the day. On that race, I actually had decent position for a while, and I was actually feeling all right, but my heart rate was just skyrocketing. So I think that's just shows the amount of effort it takes even when you're in that position, but also the heat and the humidity also probably contributed to that rising. I think I hit 207 in
Wow.
that race rate and was over 200 for significant stretches. There was one big crash there around a corner where they have these patches on the finish straight where they patch the road, and it's was it concrete road with
Yeah.
these black concrete patches, and you can see just little like rocks that have broken off from that patch that are just kind of loose. And I'm assuming that's what someone hit around a corner is they just slid
Oh
out.
no.
So we had a fairly big crash there. It took out probably 20 or so guys that I think most of them were able to get to the neutral service, hit the pit, and then jump back on the next lap. So, and that I don't think there was any major injuries in that crash.
Good.
Um,
Good.
I eventually I was in decent position, but you have to keep moving up because riders are dropping behind you, and so when you might be in like the front of the back third, all of a sudden you're just at the back without really anyone passing you. So eventually, just a guy in front of me opened the wheel. We were both pretty cooked, and I was kind of hoping he would close it, and I didn't have the legs to close it when he didn't.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think we dropped with 7 or 8 to go in that race, and I was just empty after that.
Hi, I'm Bear, and I like to ride bikes. When I was a kid, I stood in the shadows of giants, the Tour de France, the legends, the climbs. I was hooked. Now, I race in the Pacific Northwest. Rain, heat, snow, I'm still riding. It's about the pursuit of improvement, the grind, the grade, the summit. My goals? Nationals, Europe. How high can I go? I'm Bear Lopez, riding, climbing.